Okay, um, so it's been about a month now that I started to sing and see what could come out of it. I've made a bunch of different songs. I've made maybe like 10 songs of my own, sort of. None of them are really like full songs. They're just kind of testing out, experimenting, um, trying out different stuff to see how it turns out. The other ones are covers, actually. And none of them are actually full covers or anything either. They're just kind of, I don't know, like the chorus of the beginning of the song into kind of like the chorus and whatnot. But so far, I mean, I feel like, I feel like it's kind of hard a little bit to, um, I don't know, to judge myself, I guess. Sometimes I feel like the songs are really good. Um, well, not like really good, not like something that you hear on the radio, but I feel like I'm improving. I feel like I'm getting a little bit better. But then sometimes I listen to it and I'm kind of like, what the hell were you thinking? You know, that sounds awful. Like, that's embarrassing. And I try not to think that way. I mean, the thing is that I don't know if anybody's ever going to listen to my music. I don't know if anybody's ever going to, I don't know if people are like, if anybody did hear it would laugh at me or just like, you know, what the hell is this person thinking? But I think that's the thing about skill is, and talent itself, is that you have to work on it. You know, if you really want to sing, then I think it's something that you should try to do whenever you have time. Maybe not necessarily every single day, but at least whenever you get a chance to, and work on it and continue to try to grow and see what you can make out of it. Where I'm trying to go from here is that rather than just doing nothing with my time, I mean, I'm a really busy person, so I don't have that much time to work on music, but every now and then when there's like downtime, I guess I could try to work on a song or whatever. I feel like my voice is a little odd. I don't know if everybody that tries to sing feels that way. Um, Sometimes I feel like it's a little high. If I try to go a little low, I feel like I just don't have as much control over my voice. You know, when I go really, really high, like, ah, I don't know if that's right. That sounded, I mean, that actually sounded kind of flat, I think, and I don't think that's good. If I go really low, oh, ah, ah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know exactly what to work on. I don't know if I should, if this is something that I want to do with my life. The only way to be good is just to go to school for it or something. I mean, you know, and I don't think that that's right either. I mean, just because the thing that I was thinking about a lot is that if you, um, it doesn't matter if you're like a bad singer or whatever. That doesn't necessarily mean that you shouldn't, if you're living your life, you should do what you want to do with your life, whether you're a good singer or a bad singer. Um, the thing is that it's your life. You're the one that has to live with it. That's all I want. I just want to have something tangible with my time. Maybe years from now I could look back and say, oh, well, do you remember that time when I tried to think that I could make some music? Well, I have those songs. It's kind of like a picture. It's something that I could look back a little later and say, yeah, I made that song. Maybe it was a horrible song, but it's something that I had, kind of like a horrible picture. It's a memory. And that's what it's all about. It's about creating a little bit more memories. The thing is that when I was actually on vacation for school when I had started, and I kind of just got bored of watching TV and just doing nothing during the break, so I figured, okay, well, I've always wanted to be a singer, so maybe I should attempt to make some music and see what I can do, see what I love music. I've always loved music. I love all kinds of music. I respect all music. I mean, I don't think I've ever heard anything that I don't respect. The thing is, people take time to make the music. It's like I mean, it's effort that somebody put into it, and I don't think anything is bad. I don't think that something that you're trying to work on is wrong. I just it's like, I think of when you're like a kid. You know how when you're a kid and you get a crown for the first time and you draw your little stick figures and you have your little house that's kind of lopsided and stuff like that. You don't really color inside of the lines. Well, you're so proud of that picture. You're so proud that you actually made something. Your parents even put it on the refrigerator or whatever, or they save that drawing because, you know, my little kid made that thing. Well, I think of that when it comes to actually trying to do something, and eventually you do get a little bit better with practice. I think you learn a little bit more. I feel like just in a month I've grown a little bit. I mean, I'm not talking about like I'm just a tiny little bit. Is just tiny little improvements. I don't think my voice is ever going to change. I have the voice that I have, and all I'm trying to do is just refine that voice so that I don't go wild. There's other times where it's kind of like way all over the place, and it's just about having a little bit more control, a little bit more polished, a little bit more fixing certain things here and there, certain tones. The one thing that I have learned about the voice is it can go all over the place, up in here, everywhere and stuff, and it's just sometimes it's hard to understand where you're actually placing your voice. But I still think that there's beauty in that. I'm proud of the little bit that I have, and like I've said before, it doesn't really matter if anybody watches it or not. But I think that it's just what I made. It's something that I spent time. Some songs maybe were easier, and it took me about an hour or so to make something quick and simple and just, you know, a little catchy or whatever. Other songs I worked on for days. But everything that I try to do with my life, I'm trying to just be the best that I could possibly be with everything that I do. You know, if I even just making this video right now, I want to have the best video that I could possibly try to make. And the only way I'm ever going to learn how to make videos is to continue to pull out my camera, step in front of it, and see who I am. I want to be the best person that I could be, the best everything that I could possibly be. And that includes singing. Music is a big part of my life. I've always loved and respected a lot of songs out there. And yes, they are professional songs, but people have worked and dedicated their entire lives to making a lot of that professional stuff. I'm not saying I'm trying to be that person or trying to follow in somebody else's footsteps, but I'm trying to live my own life so that I can eventually have something that I could be very, very proud of. I mean, and I am somewhat proud of some of the songs that I've made, so, you know, and I think that it can get better. There's other people that are still in maybe that beginning level, but have a little bit more practice and just a little bit more refinement. I mean, you know, and I think that I am who I am. You know, if my voice isn't pleasing to hear, then I don't think it's ever going to be, no matter how hard I try. And that's really not the point. I'm not trying to please anybody. I'm just trying to, I mean, I like it, and I think it sounds okay, and there's certain stuff that I don't think sounds okay that I'm trying to work on so that I can get a little bit better. But it's still about trying to keep trying, keep practicing. Practice makes perfect. Trying something that doesn't quite work out a little bit, so try again, you know. And that's why I have a lot of videos. I'm not going to delete any of my videos. There's actually some stuff on there that I'm quite embarrassed of, but it's who I am. It's a mistake that I made, and I'm trying to learn from that. There's something, the reason why I post it online for the entire world to see is because it keeps me on my toes. If I saved it for myself and I'm the only one that's, I mean, even though I sit here and say I'm the only one that's ever, you know, I make it for myself and I don't care if anybody else sees it. Of course I care if somebody else sees it, and of course I would like for other people to see it, and of course I would like other people to respect it in their own way. I mean, if you want to or whatever, but of course I care what other people feel. I don't want my music to be horrible, and I don't want the sound to be unpleasing to other people's ears. But I think the only way that I'm ever going to learn is to keep trying and to learn, and I'm never going to know if people don't say anything. So even if everybody, I mean, whoever has watched my videos, the only video I think that has any likes or dislikes is the Death of a Bachelor. I believe it has a few dislikes, and that was one of the videos that I did not know how to do the chorus. It's actually a challenging song, at least for me, to do. And I have it out there for the rest of the world because I think other people might be able to learn too, just like me. I learned from watching other people just have other videos. Now, I haven't really seen anybody actually talk about their struggles in trying to get to wherever they got to. I never seen anything about a professional person coming from here or there or whatever, but I'm posting that up there because that's my particular progress. Anybody that's truly trying to understand might watch this. If I really do improve, which I don't think in a month is quite the time that it would take. I think it takes years and years and years to possibly improve, but if I keep this up for years, then maybe I could look back and say, oh, well, do you remember in 2016 I had barely started, and now it's, I don't know, 2020 or something, and yeah, now I could finally sing that song, or whatever. It's also the confidence level that you have. It's also certain techniques. And the only way that you improve on your technique is to keep trying. And that's what I'm just trying to do, is to try. I've never really tried to sing before. I mean, I've never at all, actually. But I've always loved music, so I thought, well, maybe I have a voice. Maybe I could learn how to use my voice. So I did a little bit of research. I looked online, and I found out that it's really not a natural talent kind of thing. You may hear that here and there, that, oh, well, you need to be born with something, or you need to be born with this or that. If you have the voice, then you just have the voice. It's not something that you just gain over time. And I don't think that's really true, honestly. I mean, yes, you do have the voice that you have, but at the same time, you can always work on that voice. Every day that goes by, every moment that goes by, could be working towards something. Actually, I think I could hit a little higher than what I used to be able to. Actually, I need to work on a little bit more of the lower, because my voice is kind of high as it is, and I need to work on trying to go really, really low. But it's just practice. I mean, I don't know what else to say. I just wanted a little bit of an update, because it's been a month, and I wanted to put out my feelings too, just so that I could look back at it later and say, that's how I felt at that time. That's what I was thinking at that time. But I think singing helps me a little bit. It's kind of like a journal. It's kind of like certain feelings and stuff like that. It's like having a poem or something that you can just kind of let out some of the stress or whatever that you might be feeling. I mean, I've talked about just a bunch of different stuff that's going on with my life here and there. But I would like a little bit of feedback if anybody ever does watch the video. I mean, even if it is a thumbs down. And this time I really do encourage that, because the more thumbs down that I get, the more that I know, okay, I must be doing something wrong, and I want to try to fix it. But anybody can get better. Okay, I don't know if my particular voice is really that special voice that's literally like a diamond in the rough, like a 1 in a million, 1 in a billion kind of thing, that just, I have just this amazing unique voice, and that particular voice no one can ever, I mean, I do have a unique voice, but I don't know if it's like I don't know if it's a voice that's across the world or something, is going to be something that everybody's just going to love. I don't think I have that particular kind of voice. I think some people do, and that is kind of a natural kind of thing that you're born with, but whatever voice I do have, I think trying to work on it and trying to refine it a little bit might be okay. I might be able to actually sing certain songs and be okay. I have learned that no matter how hard I try, there's some stuff that I might not be able to do. But I still think that trying a little bit more here and there helps out. Just like with photography and just like with anything else, I personally just believe my voice is like a tool, and just with any tool, like a hammer for instance, you could get really, really good at a hammer. You could build a house with just a hammer if you get really, really good at it. Now, not everybody might be able to do that. I mean, but it's not the hammer itself. It's the skill and the techniques and the knowledge that you have to bring the best out of it. And that's all I'm trying to work on. And the way to learn is to either pay money for people to give me lessons, which I'm sure would help, but that's not the focus here. I'm trying to learn on my own. And maybe I will take classes eventually one day. I don't have money for something like that at the moment, but the best that I could do is just hear a song that I like, try to see if I could sing that song, record myself, and then there you go. And then try another song, and try another song, and try another song, and maybe eventually, and then after each song that goes by, I learned certain things here and there. It's kind of like, oh, well, you have a little too, like, in your voice, or you're like too, or you're too, like, whatever. And it's like, don't do that. That doesn't sound right. That's awful. I mean, and then I think just knowing that particular technique, and then the next level is trying to actually sing in front of anybody, which I have not done ever in my life. Actually sing in front of another person. Now that's going to be something interesting, and I don't know if I could ever do that, and I'm actually somewhat of a shy person, so even making this video right now makes me nervous, and it's just a camera right in front of me, but it's just the thought of, like, somebody else, like, staring at me, judging me, like, what is this person talking about? But I don't know. Anyway, and that's another thing too, actually, because I don't have all the confidence in the world, this kind of helps me out with that a little bit. Sometimes you just to be who you want to be, you just have to try something. You either live with who you are, or you try to change it and try to work on it, and that's exactly what I'm trying to do. I feel like I'm a horrible singer, and I just want to be a better singer. That's all I want to do. I want to be able to say, I can sort of sing. I sang that song. I did pretty good, and maybe one day, and then one day I could look back and say, yeah, well, that's something that I worked on. Kind of like going to school and getting a degree. Yeah, I went to school. I got a degree. There were those times where it was easy. There was those times where it was hard, but I did that, and that's what I have. Now, was I the best at getting the degree? Was I the best at singing? Well, that's a totally different story. And that's usually very subjective to each individual person. People decide for you whether you're actually good or not, but I think you have to decide for yourself, and so far I'm not trying to sit here. I'm a big critic of myself too. I don't think that I do all that well, but then I don't think that I do all that bad at the same time either. And as I go, I learn certain things here and there, as I had mentioned a million times. But if it really is horrible to everybody else in the world, if other people see it and just stop doing that. Well, fine, maybe I just won't post it online or whatever, but it's not going to stop me from trying to make music, because it's kind of like a rush. It's almost like doing drugs or something to me. It's kind of like I get feelings and stuff, and it's like, oh, okay, yeah, that's a good beat. And then I try to write, my songs and stuff like that, and I like it. I do like it. Even if I'm not good at it, doing it, it's something that I like to do. One thing I want to try one day is jumping out of a plane. And I might like it so much that I might continue to jump out of a plane. And even though there's a risk with that, maybe you're not the best plane jumper in the world, but you do it just because you do it. Why does anybody do anything? Why do people I don't know, decide to cook and decide to draw and decide to do anything. Why does anybody do anything? Because it makes you feel good. And people tend to get better when they keep trying and trying. If you're an artist and you try to draw something, you try to do Bugs Bunny or something, and his ears are kind of, you know, you try again and you try, but you like doing it. You had fun drawing Bugs Bunny, so you're gonna try again. So next time you're gonna try to do Tweety, and next time you're gonna try to do Sylvester the cat, and so on and so forth. And eventually, maybe you learn certain skills, and you might actually get much better at it eventually. And I that's the only concept I say. Maybe you're never going to be the best drawer in the world. Maybe I'm never going to be the best singer. It's not really what I'm trying to do. I mean, it is what I'm trying to do. Yes, of course I want to be the best. Anything that I do, of course, I want to be the best in the whole entire world. There's over 7 billion people, and I totally want to be the best one. Okay, well, keep working at it, you know. I definitely have a long way to go. Speaking of natural talent, I don't even know if my voice is like pleasing to anybody's ears or whatever, but it's the voice that I have, and I have to try to work with it. And as I said, I either am gonna accept it or I'm gonna try to change it and try to work on it. And I'm actually trying to do both. I'm trying to accept it and work on it at the same time. I accept my voice. My voice, I know that I just have the voice that I have, but when I record some of my songs, like I said, there's a bunch of stuff that I don't like, that I think could be a little bit better. And if I can learn how to work on that stuff and learn how to get better at those things, maybe it might not be so bad. Maybe the same people maybe if somebody thought that it was awful from before, I might be able to just hear it again, see what you think, and maybe it might not be so bad. I don't know. But that's just my thought. Maybe I'll feel completely different 5 minutes from now or tomorrow or whatever, but that's just my thoughts about that. And that's another thing too, is there's barking. Imagine trying to sing a song and you feel like you sang the best at that particular time, and what happens? The dog starts barking, and you're either gonna like keep it with the bark in there. Anyway, but it's just a little bit of an update, and so thank you.